Hi, welcome to this video of my workbooks and studies that I've been completing over the last few weeks. The studies are just a play with paint, but also looking at Monet and a number of artists, plus mixing of colour. I never get tired of mixing colours. It is truly a joyful thing. And I hope you enjoy looking at the images as they are presented today. And see you next time. I've also got a podcast on this channel, daily podcast. Hope you can listen to that too. And we'll be back soon with some more creative visualizations.
Alright, so here are the small Monet studies that have been completed on just textured, fairly heavy paper. They are in acrylic rather than oil because I wanted to do one each day. And you'll also notice that with each image I also wrote down a quote from Monet to add a little bit of extra inspiration. And many of these studies were based on his oil paintings of the water lilies, but also his garden, which was a joy for him. And you'll see that each study has a slightly different colour palette, but within a certain range, because we note from the Impressionists that the idea is to capture the fleeting light, the moment, and not be concerned with showing photorealism, but that beauty of light changing and dancing across the subject matter. So more water lilies here. And again, a beautiful quote about water lilies being Monet's inspiration, almost his muse. So as we look really closely at the brushwork, we note that it's not about hard edges, it's about deliberate dabs of colour, layering, capturing the moment, and that whole idea of light. Light adds atmosphere, adds beauty to whatever you're painting. So again, they're not realistic interpretations of Monet's work. They are really just a reconnection back to the Impressionist way of working. And the idea of doing one a day is quite good discipline if you want to improve on a style or a technique. It really does help us if you can get into that habit. And the scale of the work means you're able to do it in different places if you haven't got a large studio. And some of the close-up studies, you'll see they almost become abstract. The closer you look at the brushwork and the shape of the subject matter. And I also can't encourage you enough to read about the artists that you may be looking at and finding their words as inspiration. So I went a bit smaller here. Oh no, I just had a bigger sketchbook. And 2 per page, and some of these are very close up studies that you could get from museum sites, and some of them were more wider view studies of the paintings. Some of you may be lucky enough to go and see the original Monets in a museum or art gallery where you live or when you're touring, and there is nothing quite like seeing a Monet large panoramic lily painting. And as I move towards the end of this study, I was playing a little bit around with the intensity of colour. I think my works here are just a bit too much colour for Monet. He was interested in sunrises and sunsets, and flowers were also an object of inspiration for Monet. And the last three, were looking at his haystack studies, because he did many works documenting the changing, shifting light across the haystacks. These next pieces in the video are just colour studies, watercolour. This is looking at cool and warm colours using acrylic, and the same here with watercolour paints. Acrylic colour chart, just looking at how the different pigments respond to adding a tint, and again with watercolour. And notes about the pigments being used is also useful. And another colour wheel with watercolour on the other page. I hope you can play. Thanks for listening and watching the video today. I do hope to see you again. Drop in a comment. See ya.